Hey everyone, Dan at Bushcraft. Welcome to another episode of being out here practicing survival with nature. So in the trees out here, fir and pine, all over the Ochicos, and I'm sure it's in various parts of the US or you have your own version of it, is what we call old man's beard. It's basically just a type of moss, and it's nicknamed old man's beard, I guess, because if you wear it from your chin, you look like an old man with a beard. Anyway, this stuff, when it dries out like this, there's a lot hanging here too. Wow. So this tree is just loaded with it. Big chunks of it, small chunks of it. This stuff will take a spark just from a ferro rod or even from a flint and steel. Just a couple sparks. When this stuff gets dried out, it makes a great fire starter. Downside is it gives a very short burn time. So unless I have some dry tinder, like, some fine shavings of some dry pieces of wood, fat wood or whatever, to catch the flame that this produces, I might not get a fire going because it's only going to burn for a few seconds. Now, right now, like all these little twigs and stuff are nice and dry. So putting those in there with it, I get a fire no problem. But I'm going to show you guys a cool trick for when maybe things are not readily available. You've found some dry moss up under trees, which isn't hard to do even when it's raining. This stuff gets up under the boughs and still stays dry. I want to show you how you can use items that you might have in your pockets, in your pack, in your vehicle, whatever, to go with this to give it a sustained burn time. Survival with nature. And as you guys can see, all these dead branches, which would just make a tremendous fire starting source, use it all the time, but are just covered with this moss. And it's always cool to learn new skills, new tricks that you might need. Here's a bunch of it right here. Look at that. Big old long pieces just hanging down off the branches. Very cool. It's always cool to learn new tricks that you might need in a real survival situation. Okay, now that was a fir tree. So here is a ponderosa pine. And I want to show you, so it's just not exclusive to the fir trees, but right here in this ponderosa pine is all kinds of this moss hanging down too. There's a nice piece right here. Look at that. And again, with just sparks from a ferro rod or whatever, flint and steel, whatever you got, that will ignite and give you flame. So let me go show you guys a cool trick. Okay, so here we're going to combine nature with something that we might be carrying. This will work with chapstick, lip balm, different kind of first aid items, hand sanitizer, alcohol pads. It'll work with all kinds of things that you might have with you. I know, especially during that bad time, we'll just say, without using the C word, people were carrying hand sanitizer everywhere. Often people will carry a little bottle in their pocket as they travel. They make ones that go on a keychain, and my truck keys are in my pocket. Anything that has alcohol or petroleum in it, like your lip balms, chapstick, petroleum jelly, will work as a flame extender. So where you can hit this with a spark and it'll just burn for a couple seconds and then burn right up. If you don't have anything else to mix with it, or you're in a hurry, you've pulled some of this down, you can use any of those things as a flame extender. And I'm actually going to come back and do this again because this is cool. So we'll do this again in another video using some chapstick and some other items. But I wanted to go with the hand sanitizer and something that every first aid kit should have. So you saw on my little survival pack that I'm carrying, I have a little first aid kit. It's got alcohol prep pads in it, and we'll use that. First, you do want to break up the fibers a little bit just to make it easier to catch a spark. So break up some fibers. And then this hand sanitizer is like 80 some percent. This one's 60 some percent alcohol. Some are a lot stronger than that. The stronger the better. But we'll just put some of this in here. And I might even just kind of rub it into some of the, soak it into some of the fibers a little bit there. And now that's going to act as a flame extender. So where the alcohol, I kind of mushed it down into the fibers, is going to extend that flame and add some burn time to it. So it's not going to burn up so fast. And you can see it's a little bit harder to see because of the clear burn of the alcohol, but the spots here where it was just the moss, they're already burned up. But these spots here where I put in the hand sanitizer, they're still burning. They're still putting up a flame. There's actually a flame burning right there. You guys can see that. And so that gave me a little bit of extended burn time, and I could have used more. And as I said, the more alcohol that's in one of these, the better. And then we'll come back in another video, I said, and do some with like some chapstick and things. Those will even burn longer. But anything like this will add to your burn time. All right, let's do another one. This stuff is everywhere. Every tree out here has this stuff on it just about. And so it's a great source. And one of the things I talked about in video number 1, and this is so important, pay attention. If I take a new person who's new to survival training, and we'll walk through an area like this, and I will say at the end of the walk, tell me about all of the resources that you saw. And they might get a couple things. And we'll go back and we'll walk through it again together, and I'll say, look, see this stump right here that you walked by? This stump right here is solid fat wood, hours and hours of burn time. See the dead limbs hanging from this tree. See the dead branches on that fallen tree. Did you notice all of the tree moss? Did you notice how heavy the fir boughs are for shelter? Did you happen to see that? And it's right here, guys. Let me show you. That we just walked through a patch of wild strawberries, soon to be coming out. And even these leaves could be used in a tea. Did you notice all the different pine and fir needles for teas? Actually, there's strawberry leaves are flowering on the one right behind me. And right out there in the sun is yarrow, which can be used to put on cuts. It can be used for toothache. I mean, so you've got to get into this mindset. This is so important, and I can't stress this enough. This is probably one of the biggest lifesavers. People who have everything they need around them to survive walk through an area and don't notice those things because they haven't trained their mind. My mind is trained that as I'm walking out through the woods, exploring, watching wildlife, fishing, hunting, whatever I'm doing, I notice everything around me. My mind's always working. It's always going, oh, there's a great shelter spot. There's fatwood right there. And those things register, and I know I can turn around and come back to each one of those. That's so important. Anyway, without turning this into a speech, if you're ever out here with me. So an alcohol prep pad from my first aid kit, which by itself will ignite, but it's very small and doesn't give me a whole heck of a lot of burn time by itself. I will put that down inside this moss. And so as that moss ignites, that little prep pad is going to burn in there and help hold a flame and make a hotter flame. There we go. Well, so I got break up a few more fibers here. And see, that's the thing about the moss. It doesn't always catch real well, but this alcohol pad you can see right here is going to act as an extender when we get that going. Okay, so this time the flame has caught the alcohol pad. See that? So now we have a flame extender inside our big bundle of moss. So the alcohol pad is burning, the moss is burning. We have enough time that if we've got some small pieces of fat wood, I would break this up into even smaller toothpick sizes and put that in there. It's going to catch. As you can see, our alcohol pad is burning, our moss is burning. It's a flame extender. So that's what I'm talking about. Combining what nature provides with what you bring. And for the most part, everybody brings something. I mean, most people will carry some kind of a small survival kit into the woods, or at least have a ferro rod, a lighter, a pocket knife, a few things in their pockets. Learn from nature to provide the rest. Hope you guys like this. Cool little tip. We used hand sanitizer, alcohol prep pad. I want to do this again in another video using some other things like chapstick, show you how we can rub that into the moss and see what other sources we can come up with from nature to combine with what we might bring with us. Dan at Bushcraft. Hope you guys are liking this series, learning some new things, and probably most important, that you'll get out, try them out, apply them, and really, really learn that mindset. As you walk through an area, mentally take note of every resource for shelter, survival, food, water, medicine, etc. that you can. Take care, everybody.